Hey, this is MassX with a brand new end of the year video, and we're going to talk EOS, and we're going to talk about the future of the games that at least I'm currently playing and what they're up against for next year. There's always a lot of EOS announcements and the service at the end of the year, and this is no different. And some that stuck out to me were, first off, I'm not sure if anybody out there played this. It was a very, very good game, Full Metal Alchemist Mobile. It was only released in Japan. And it is basically, they released a statement, it is closing service basically within a year of releasing. Pretty sad because it's a solid game, but they really made some poor choices in the first quarter when they came out. And they were never able to recover from that. Big shame. Another one that really shocked me was Danmachi Memoria Freeze. That one is ending service also in 2024. Another fan favorite, Dragon Quest Tact, is also going to be ending service in 2024, as well as World Flipper Global. That is also coming to the end. And there's a host, I think I counted 14 news releases that came out just in December for at least games that have some sort of knowledge or attention, but God knows the amount that close down every year that we don't even know about. And some of the games I'm playing right now, and one that I haven't done a lot of videos on that I will be expanding in 2024 is Black Clover Mobile. Now on the sheet I have up here, it's just showing 200K revenue, but that's just for November, okay? They did about 10 million for their first 4 weeks, which is good. I wouldn't say it's phenomenal by any means. It's a strong case that this game, if it can continue to generate money, will have at least a full run in 2024. But there's a few things you have to always keep in mind, okay? One is how much money does it cost to produce the game? Because that's a huge weight on things. And that goes everything from the cost of the IP to the amount of developers that have to be working on the game, etc., etc. Servers, how many servers are required, what type of servers. So for something like Black Clover Mobile, which has some strikes against it, it's not the norm, okay? Most games that come over globally are already doing financially pretty good overseas in Japan, Korea, etc. Black Clover Mobile isn't. Their only claim to money, for the most part, is going to rely on global. So if that global figure drops under $1 million a month, I have some serious concern this game will be able to last. Now, the upside to this is Garena doesn't really have any games out there that is generating income. Now, the rumor is they have been long and hard at work on a second all-original game to be coming at some point, which is also scary because usually resources get moved over to that, especially if a game is not proving that it can make the money that it needs. So really, for Black Clover Mobile to survive, it's going to need to generate a minimum of $1 million in revenue globally a month. And you go, oh well, it made 10 million. Well, yeah, that's the first month of global. Street Fighter Duel, okay, made 10 million its first month. And as I'll show you here, in less than a year, it's down to 300K. But the reason why this game probably won't go anywhere is pretty simple. The game's been out for years, 3 years overseas. It's a cut and paste. Yeah, they make some changes to the characters. Yes, they've edited some events. But again, the framework is all there. The costs are limited. So to this one, they don't need to generate as much income to make a profit. And what's always been surprising to me is I play Eminence and Shadow Master Garden. I think it's a phenomenal game. Love it. Love the IP. It's trying. It has been consistently bringing in 400K a month. But the opposite of Black Mobile is it does pretty well overseas. And so it can draw 800K to $1 million overseas. So with that combined revenue of over $1 million, I definitely don't see that one going anywhere. Then you look at the dark side, and that's Moonton with One Punch Man, the strongest, which I play. Last month, it only brought in 100K. Not surprising. December is going to be a big difference because you had the release of CK. My guess is it'll be more like its norm, which has been about 200K a month. Then you go, well, how's this one surviving? Well, again, it's a cut and paste. In this one, they don't even make any changes hardly ever. So the costs are incredibly low. The One Punch Man IP is not the highest costing license out there. So my guess is it generates enough to not only cover its costs, server costs, but to give them a little extra money in their pocket. And this is all about just getting a little bit more money out of this game that's already released in multiple regions over multiple years, and it's right now just basically a means to an end to generate a little bit more money. And as long as it can cover its costs and make them a little money, I don't see it going anywhere. And one that always kills me is something like Grand Summoners. I still play this game. I don't play it religiously. I try to log in a few times a week. I love the amount of collaborations they do. It's amazing. But they made 400K globally last month. Not bad. They make probably about 600K to 800 overseas. They are still bringing $1 million a month for that type of game. And I don't see that game going anywhere. But again, my point is you just got to keep an eye out on the games that you play. Of course, play what you enjoy. That's all that matters. Just always be aware it's getting harder and harder for these games to continue. The costs have risen quite a bit, especially after COVID. The revenues are down. So you got to keep in mind what's out there with your game. Now, again, I really hope Black Clover Mobile survives. I think it's a solid game. Don't think it has its problems. It does, but it's a good game. And if you love the IP, it's a lot of fun. I'm just worried about their monthly nut, so to speak, of costs. And really, it's going to fall on the shoulders of Global. And if you looked at the hard figures, you saw about 35% of that income came from the US. Second place was France. I think third place was Thailand. So again, France and the US are really pulling up over a third of the revenue in month one. And the problem is with that is US seems to have an issue being consistent sometimes. So that could be problematic with it. But in the end, next year we got some great games coming with a brand new Bleach game. Fingers crossed, because it's really freaking good. We've got One Punch Man World coming in January, at the end of January. That seems to be a game that has been very decisive with people. I've seen about 60 to 70% of people really like it, and about 30% of people absolutely hate it. I think it's a solid game. I think people are crazy if they don't like it, but hey, it's all personal opinion, and nobody's opinion is better than anybody else's. So yeah, my point is just be careful, understand the games you play. You can always figure out if they're doing good or not. But let's hope for a solid year gaming, and let's hope, as usual, the developers step up and don't be complete a-holes in the process. Because remember, in the end, okay, a publisher can only do so much. It really is always the developer that makes all those decisions. So yeah, everybody likes to bag on publishers, but honestly, it's not the publishers that have much to do with anything. It's really the developers, and they're the ones pulling the strings in the background, and they have a publisher in front of them, so they don't take the heat. Remember that. So everybody have a phenomenal new year. Talk to you next year.